for.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that, right? Okay. Or is this going to be chat?
I'm gonna refresh just a second. Hello, if you're watching and we're live, I'm Rich Alvarez. Welcome to the Rich Alvarez channel. Today we have a very special Rich cast with friends. With me as always Chris Muller over on that side.
Hello, everybody.
We also have Brandon.
Hi.
And we have Sam.
Hi.
Holly.
Hi.
And Kelly.
Hey.
And we'll probably have more people pop in and out as the stream goes on. Oh, good, it refreshed on its own. That's a Christmas relief.
Wow. In stunning.
It's like YouTube 2008 all over again.
Yeah.
I think the quality should pick up, but if not, enjoy the 240p.
Well, we have a very lovely stream planned for you all. We're going to be talking about, once again, a range of topics from the entertainment world. And also we are today celebrating many people's January birthdays, including one Brandon here.
Wait, are we in 240p for everybody else?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if the quality is good. On our end, the quality is really bad. It was 240p. But if you're seeing this in HD, enhanced. Zoom.
It's getting better live. Look at
that. Anything you want to say about your birthday, Brandon?
It's in June actually.
Oh, okay. Chris, your birthday's actually today.
My birthday is actually today.
So happy 21st.
For the 13th time.
Just like Trogdor, also turning 21 years old.
Oh yeah, Trogdor the Burninator, if you remember such things. We got a super chat from one Brett Charles who's in the room but prefers to super chat. Thank you, Brett. You got any games on your phone?
Thanks,
I actually do have games on my phone. We have many friends with January birthdays. Another one is Liz, who's a dear friend of ours, who will be joining us later. I don't know if it'll make it in time to stream, but they're going to be here later. And of course, Bear is over there, and it's Bear's birthday as well. Say happy birthday to yourself, Bear.
Happy birthday, Bear.
Happy birthday to me.
Cool.
Wait, so is it crooked or is the painting on my wall crooked?
Ooh. I think it's just the angle at which the camera is at.
If it bugs you, I could get up and move it.
Does it have a little bubble?
But I'm
on
afraid
the tripod?
it's not the tripod, it's the phone.
Your phone's crooked. The camera inside the phone is crooked.
Oh.
Here, I'll adjust it. I'll show you what I mean. This can adjust ever so.
Oh!
See?
Oh, yeah!
So, is that it?
I think you might have nailed it,
You
dude.
move this back and forth.
Oh,
So
that's
is it,
legit.
Is it that?
Oh, yeah, that looks great.
Okay. We're fixing stuff.
So that's cool, like a little internal.
Yeah, just like
Oh, that was you guys.
do a little dance.
Because we're delayed.
Wait, no, it's not straight anymore. It's still crooked.
It's better.
About whatever.
I mean, we can try
Now
more
we're
on
good.
it.
Okay, no, we're good.
No, we're good.
Just gonna bug me.
Well, because I'm going off of, there's a delay, so by the time it catches up. If it really bugs you, feel free to jump up and change it at any point.
What did you want to talk about first?
Okay.
Don't touch
Honestly, I wanted to talk about two things.
Pokemon.
Pokemon is probably the first one. The second one is going to be World of Warcraft Season of Discovery.
Oh yeah.
Which one would you like to talk about first, Brian?
Pokemon.
Okay, cool. So,
Who's that Pokemon? It's...
what I wanted to start off with is what everybody's favorite Pokemon memory is.
Oh wow.
Very specific. And I can go first to give you guys the
Damn,
example.
okay. I know. Rihanna has it up.
So I'll go first, and this is actually going to be a little bit of a curveball. You would have thought I would have said something about one of the old games, but actually, my favorite Pokemon memory is from Pokemon Go, and I'll tell you why. When Pokemon Go came out, there was something kind of really novel about playing like an AR game because it's augmented reality.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is back when you're a kid, if you were playing like with the cards or you were trading Pokemon on the Game Boy, you could immediately become best friends with someone that you'd never like talked to before. That's one of the thing that's magical about being a kid. It's like, oh, you like Pikachu, I like Pikachu, we're best friends.
Yeah.
And then you grow up and you become a jaded, cynical adult, and it's like hard to make friends.
That's still how I make friends. Like I go to the coffee shop and just
And
They're not gonna hear you. So
we were like, I was like in a mall in Japan, and this guy saw me playing Pokemon Go, and he like didn't even speak any of the same language between the two of us, and he was just like, oh, And now, we're almost best friends in Pokemon Go.
That's
That's
a.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, be on this podcast. Need a microphone.
See, I just figured if I talked loud enough, it would have projected him.
But yeah, so that's my point. So my favorite Pokemon memory was there was about 2 weeks in 2016 when Pokemon Go first came out, and literally anybody anywhere, if you were out in public in a park and you had your phone out, you could go up to some complete stranger
Yeah.
and they'd be like, oh hey, you're playing, I'm playing, oh hey, there's a Pikachu over here, oh you should go get this. And the thing I liked about it is for like 2 weeks, as like a jaded, cynical 20-something-year-old, I felt like I was like 10 years old again, and I could walk up to a complete stranger and we could immediately be best buds.
Yeah.
And I've never experienced anything like that as an adult, where you could just walk up to somebody and become friends. And there was a tiny bit of a repeat on that a year later in 2017 when they added raiding to Pokemon Go, because then you had to actually team up with people to capture the legendary Pokemon. So there was like groups on Discord for wherever you were local to, where it's like, hey, we're gonna go raiding, just show up and you're gonna make friends. And then you had to like team up with whoever was on your team to get the Premier Ball bonus. But you became like buddies with people because you had to team up with like 20 people to get like, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. So anyway, Pokemon Go was my favorite memory because it was the closest thing I felt to about being a kid. And again, the magic is being able to just make friends with strangers in a seamless way, which like
Wait, Chris,
I've
what
never
was
had.
what was those 3 Pokemon you mentioned again?
Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos.
Moltres and Zapdos. Sounds
Did
like
I say it wrong?
No, that's fine. I was gonna say it sounds like a trip to my therapist.
What?
What does that mean?
The fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
That's rich.
What the heckarino does that mean?
No, I'm just making a play on like the weird sounding Pokemon names like Zapdos and.
No, it's Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. It's Uno, Dos, Tres.
Okay.
Oh, I never knew that.
Jesus!
Wow.
I don't believe you.
Alright.
We're learning Spanish.
That's okay. I just realized that Delibird is not Delibird, it's Delibird, like
Yeah.
delivered.
Oh.
I just realized that the other day.
Brett Superchats, thank you. Brett said, got any traumatic experiences on your phone? Probably. I'm sure if I dig deep enough. Anyway,
So that was my
Oh, I'll go
my
next.
Pokemon memory.
So I have 2. One was I played the trading card game, of course, and then everybody was playing the Game Boy game, and I was really jealous. My parents wouldn't buy it for me. I was walking down the street, twiddling my thumbs as little tiny Brandon, and this old lady who lived down the street, Mary Butler, rest in peace, loved the lady, she was amazing, she always made really good cookies. She was like a classic old lady that made cookies and would like invite you and make cookies, yeah. She was like, oh my god, Brandon, thank god you're here, I can't get into my house. The only unlocked window is the bathroom window, you know, a little tiny window in your bathroom?
oh.
She's like, you can climb in, right? I was like, yeah, no problem. Climbed in, unlocked the door. It was like all in a day's work. And she's like, I have to get you something. Can I go talk to your mom? Yeah, that's fine. She's like, can I take Brandon to Toys R Us? And my mom was so pissed because I've been begging for the Pokemon game. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. We went to Toys R Us and she was Mary Butler was like, do you know what you want? I was like, yeah. And I think I got Pokemon Blue. And that's how I ended up getting the Game Boy game. But the second one is when we went to go see the movie, getting the Mew card, the hieroglyphic Mew card.
I know
It's
exactly what you're
it's
talking
like
about.
Weird,
It was.
you know.
It looked different than the other
Yeah.
ones.
And it just, I don't know, there was an aura about it. Even though everybody got it, there was something about like getting that card because you were going to see the movie. It felt awesome. Those are different times. It was a different era. I think Rihanna wants to tell us a memory that she has about Pokemon.
I guess I can.
Yeah.
You want to jump in?
Come
You're
on,
on
Mike.
mic.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
You might want to get the camera.
Oops, sorry.
There.
So during the pandemic, it was really it was a very fun time, and there was no joy in anyone's life for a moment. But then I looked. One morning, I woke up after being hungover because all I did was drink. And then I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna check the Pokemon Center because maybe there's something there. And they had restocked the life-size 5'7" Furret plushie, and I ordered that. And I got him, and he was in a huge box, and I named her Laura Palmer because she was wrapped in plastic. And when I opened up that ferret, I think I experienced a joy I hadn't felt since I was a child. And she still is with me, and if you ever come to my house, she lives on the couch, and she's your cuddle buddy, and yes, she would be your own couch. She's, again, 5 feet, 7 inches ferret. If you don't have a favorite Pokemon, you can always look up what ferret is. It's the best one. Anyway, enjoy that.
That was awesome. Good job. Well done. Well done.
My favorite's Mudkip.
Does anybody else have a Pokemon memory?
I mean, like,
Take the mic.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean,
firmly hold it.
that's.
Hang on, time out, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When you introduced Kelly, did you give her a proper introduction?
Rich or Brandon, we did names only. Here, proper introduction. We do it, Brandon.
No, Brett, will you give Kelly a proper introduction? No. People might know who Kelly is. Kelly, will you give yourself a proper? Oh no, you did Come back in.
This is my best friend, Kelly Turnbull, famous comic artist and internet celebrity, and also really, really awesome person. They draw a comic Piper that you can only read if you are 18 plus. Please forget if I said it if you're not 18 plus. Kelly's the best.
And amazing animation director as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, relevant to Pokemon, like, for...
Great intro.
It's like, I'm not nearly as well known as I was if this was like, 2009 or something, but, yeah, I did the webcomic Manly Guys Doing Manly Things for years, so, like, my claim to fame is drawing a whole lot of funny face Gyarados doing it like that. Yeah, and now I haven't updated the comic in a very long time. I don't think I officially put it on hiatus, but I had one day where I just got on my motorcycle and drove to Seattle, and I was like, I never want to draw a webcomic again. And then I came back and I did. But I put a whole lot of Gyarados out on the internet. I mean, actually, I was unemployed for quite a while beginning this year because there was that animation apocalypse. That's my day job, is I direct cartoons for TV. But everything got canceled, and the pilot that I was working on for Netflix didn't get picked up, and we're kind of waiting for jobs to come back. And so I went to Japan with Rihanna, and we went to this doujinshi convention, and it was fucking amazing. I'm not supposed to say swears. It was amazing. It was
Too late.
Yeah. But just being in a room that's like the size of like the Comic-Con dealer's room and just full of nothing but people with card tables selling comics. And I've never seen that many. Just there's no Funko Pops, there's no people with prints. It's just like piles of comics. And for well, I do.
So many.
So I came back and I was, I'd seen all these doujinshi and I was like, I want one of those, I want to make one of those. And so in 42 days, it was exactly 6 weeks from when I got back from Japan, I drew a 42-page Pokemon comic and put it on the internet. And, so that wasn't even the experience that I was going to talk about. But that's, my relation to Pokemon on the internet that they might have seen. But no, so my memory of playing the very first Pokemon Blue game when it came out is that's kind of the flashbulb memory that it's you have a little memory in a locked box, and it's you can see the lighting and all the smells and everything, and it's I'm when this memory extinguishes, that's when my childhood is dead. I grew up on the edge of the tundra, and there was no way to buy stuff in the town. It's there was a hardware store and that was it. So it was a very exciting thing to go to Thompson that was 3 or 4 hours away from the town, and you could go to Walmart and you could buy a video game, and that was the exciting thing in Thompson. So we went there, and my brother bought Pokemon. This was 1998 or something. It had just come out. There were the ads where they're gotta catch them all, and we're all what does that mean? No one knew what Pokemon was. And so my brother bought Pokemon Blue, and I got Kirby's Dream Land for Game Boy. And so we're playing them, and we're at the Country Inn in Thompson. It's the only hotel in Thompson that had a pool. We just got some Pizza Hut pizza because that was the only place you could order pizza. And we're sitting there with our pizza. It's the mall or the lights that you get in hotels in the 90s where that kind of green like shell on them, and so everything kind of has that like green light. You can smell the chlorine from the pool down the hallway, and we got our pizza. My brother could not stand Pokemon. Like he was like 7 years old. He had no idea what you were supposed to do in it. We'd never encountered like an isometric 3D like tater tot game like that before. And so like he was really upset because he got this game and he didn't know how to play it, and he was a little kid and he was sad that like he wasted this one game. Our parents were getting him on this, and so I told him like, I'll trade you my Kirby game for your Pokemon game, and I'll play Pokemon. And so he was super excited, and I just like that was like the first like game with a story I guess I played. It was like everything I played before that was like Mario and Donkey Kong and like that kind of thing. So that was like I just completely fell headfirst into that world. It's like I feel like even when you look at my art, there was like a line before Pokemon. It was like all I drew were kind of like, I don't know, cartoon animals and stuff like that.
That's actually an interesting point. It feels like Pokemon might be like the first pseudo RPG most of us ever played.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because as far as RPGs are concerned, it's really like a video game that you have a choice, and that's that's the first game I ever played. Like now that I think about it, you get to choose. And like literally, the first thing you choose after a ton of text is like, which one of these 3 Pokeballs do you pick? Like choices matter. It's the first time I just realized that. I was saying that. Like,
well, that was it. Like it made me like I wanted to draw just like Pokemon. I was constantly drawing like the people in Pokemon, the character. I wanted to draw Pokemon style. Like this is before everybody was jumping on anime style. I didn't know what anime was. I just knew that I wanted to draw people like the people in Pokemon, and that was like it totally changed the way I drew. Changed like my ambition for like writing stories and like thinking about worlds and stuff like that. It was like it just like blew my mind. It just opened up this whole world to me.
hell yeah.
That was very well said.
I want to thank, we got 2 super chats, by the way. We got one from Xanderbrow. Thank you so much, Xanderbrow, for your super chat. I can't
And then
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. What did you remember?
oh, Brandon, or no, sorry, it was a joke about Smosh and like Pokemon.
Oh,
and
yes, good
super
Smosh
effective.
reference. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Xanderbrow.
Thanks,
And then we got a
Xanderbrow.
super chat from Brett. Was that to Kelly or to me? The
That's
real
mine.
group. Well, I mean, I have pictures of me and my friends, so whether they're hot or not is kind of up to personal choice.
It's subjective.
It's subjective,
Yeah.
yes.
When, by the way, Brandon, when you were like, that was like, Pokemon was like the first RPG we all played, I just immediately saw Richie like, well, actually, there's less than 50 Pokemon
I made a
pencils.
little
I
bit
made
of
Final
a
Fantasy.
Some of us aren't as old as the Egyptians.
I
I
think
just hadn't played a lot of games before.
I saw the glimmer in Richie's eye where he wanted to be like, Pokemon was like your first RPG. Alright, feel the casual. Well, let me just tell you about this really, really awesome game called Final Fantasy that I played back in 1987 when I was born.
I mean, I think that Pokemon had an astounding effect on the way that kids were getting into JRPGs. There wasn't really anything quite that big, because Final Fantasy wasn't very big in North America.
Yeah.
When Final Fantasy VI, known at the time in America on the Super Nintendo as Final Fantasy III came out.
just become a Final Fantasy.
I set him up.
I mean, I love it, and it's awesome, but it wasn't popular. If you told kids at school, like, I play Final Fantasy, they're like, what the hell's that?
Well, the thing that was special about Pokemon is you could trade with your friends. That's what made it special.
Yeah, I mean, they made it like very like intercultural.
Yes, please.
Chrono Trigger was also a thing, one of my favorite games. But yeah, not a lot of people played it. So yeah, Pokemon became a pop culture staple, but it never got better than Mudkip and Generation 3. Sam, do you have anything to say about
I
that?
sure do. Okay, I'm gonna take you guys back to 1998. Good times. Most of you probably weren't born yet, so.
I can talk about how I wasn't allowed to watch it and I never played any of the games except Pokemon Go.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to hand the mic over. Continue, Sam.
thanks for your permission.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, back in 1998, it was very seldom tell them that my older brother and I would get Pokemon cards, but what we did, obviously we would hoard them like crazy, and we would share them, and we'd bring them to school, and of course you had them in your little laminated thing, and so we'd be trading with everybody. So this is kind of a good news, bad news situation, because I really wish I still had those cards, but I was so stoked because I traded like several really good ones that were my favorite for one of those diaries that like had a lock and like you had to like do your name in it, like do a voice password, which was like super cool technology back then. And so that was pretty rad. So my mom was not too happy with me coming home with a diary that talked and not my Pokemon cards. But I still don't have the diary, so I guess it doesn't really matter, and I could have had Pokemon cards, so, you know, bad news, good news there. But I was, my, however old I was, which I won't disclose, self was very stoked about it. Also, Magikarp is the best.
Well said.
Okay. Holly.
Holly, do you have any Pokemon memories you want to share?
I was gonna say, I don't have any Pokemon memories I can share other than like, I wasn't allowed to watch the show because when I had it on in the Disneyland hotel room with my parents, like when I first started trying to watch it, when it first came out, my parents were like, that's too violent, absolutely not, and I was not allowed to watch it. Never played any of the games, except for the Pokemon Go, and it was really fun, but that's all I got.
All right.
Sad childhood
I thought we had a shared child. At least we have Pokemon Go.
Moving on to our next topic.
WoW Classic.
I think
Season of Discovery.
I think Brandon's gonna start us out.
You guys take a break.
Yeah.
Relax, enjoy yourselves. Yeah, well, hey, why aren't you in our guild yet? Let's start with that.
Well, I was playing on day one when you guys were playing with some other game, and also I'm playing on Alliance, and you're doing Filthy Disgusting
That's true.
War.
We can at least fight each other.
I already.
Ensemble.
I'll tell you what. I'll make an effort to try and
Just one character.
Yes.
Hey, and if you like that character, then you can always pay like $30 and transfer it to Alliance or whatever.
So, Brandon, for those that don't know what we're talking about, could you introduce Classic WoW Season of Discovery?
Okay.
You got 5 hours?
Yeah, well, it's classic WoW, so it's like another round of vanilla WoW. The difference is that a few things. One, it's a level 25 cap right now for this season, which instead of being level 60, which is like a lot less than you'd think, because the distance between like, you know, level 50 and level 60 is probably how long it takes to get from like level 1 to level 40.
Yeah.
You know?
Massive.
So level 1 to 25 is like a really short period of time. So it's like really easy to get to cap level, which is some of the reason why a lot of people don't like vanilla WoW for a lot of reasons. One, because it just takes so much time to get to max level. You always feel like you're behind, like you have so much to do. But this is going to be seasonally releasing the cap of the level. So right now you just get to level 25 and you're basically done, right? And you can make another character, or you can like really kit that character out and focus on their professions and whatnot. And then in February, coming up soon, the cap is going to be lifted to 40, February 8th.
Yeah.
And so then all you have to do is get from 25 to 40. And so it's going to be seasonally, you know, this, I mean, a lot of video games are doing that now, this whole 3-month kind of seasonal thing. So this is WoW's version of it, and it's fantastic. We're calling it the season of dads. People that just don't have the time anymore to know life like they did back in 2002 when they were children drinking Mountain Dew. You know, so there's that, and then they added this rune mechanic where each class has these new runes that, for the most part, buffs pretty much every class, and also gives some of the classes the opportunity to fill different roles that they didn't previously fill. So for the people that are like, oh, I really want to make a warrior, but I also want to be able to, you know, well, that's a bad example. I want to make a mage, but I also want to heal.
Yeah.
I think that one's really crazy. Or I want to make a rogue and be able to DPS, but I also want to be able to tank. Rogues can tank now, which is insane. Yeah. And mages can heal, and they're like really competitive as healers to the like straight up healing classes, the traditional healing classes. So you don't have to make multiple characters to be able to fill multiple roles within your guild or within your group of friends to do dungeons and whatnot. What else is different?
going more on the runes again, the thing that makes it so interesting is that this game's been out since 2004, so it's like,
Was it 2004 that it was
this when it was released, so it's a 20-year-old game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been asking for Classic Plus, because when they did the expansions, a lot of times the new content would erase the old content, because there was no need to go back and do the old raids. So by adding, like you said, all these new runes that get new moves, I think what was special about it is it's in the name, Season of Discovery. This game's been out for so long that everybody's data mined, everybody's min-maxed, everybody already knew what the meta was. So when it came out, it was like you get this game with a little bit of like extra new stuff mixed in. So when the game came out, like nobody knew what these new moves were, nobody knew what the meta was going to be.
You mean when Season of Discovery
When Season of Discovery launched.
That's the interesting part, is that like people have now, I mean it's only been out for what, 2
A few
months?
weeks.
Yeah,
A
and,
month,
like,
two.
I just started playing 2 weeks ago, and it was just like, you just look it up now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, in the beginning, especially those no-lifers back in the day, got to like, how do we find these new runes? They had no idea what to do.
Oh yeah. Well, that was me. Like I played it on day one, and I gotta say, it was actually like really cool because nobody knew where the runes were located. So I played a dwarf priest, and it was like, hey, there's like a weird skeleton here, and I need like another healer class to help me do this to get my rune.
See, that's what I like to do, is they make them really cool quests.
Yes.
They're not just like, go kill 12 goats and bring me back there, I was gonna say, yeah, never mind. It's like, one of them that I did was, there was like a drunk guy outside the tavern, you had to go like kick him out. And he decides to fight you.
Oh yeah, you gotta punch him.
The best one is what's the one about like you have to find somebody from a opposite god worship and like pray to each other?
You have to collect all the blessings of light, or the different I know what you're talking about. You have to have somebody pray over you or whatever, and you have to
like
collect
find people from
other
the opposite
continents.
faction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
like worship, like kneel to each other or something like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
They did a really good job.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You have to like do these like interesting quests instead of just, like the standard kind of go kill thing, bring me back thing, get thing. This was like, do something fun and interesting.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm gonna nod.
But like
Try World of Warcraft out.
I think the point is that World of Warcraft has been like the gold standard, or one of the gold standards for MMOs. I know Rich would be like, Final Fantasy 11 and 16 or 14. I lost track. But like, sorry, Rich. Oh, you want to jump in?
Yeah, we're Final Fantasy 14 players.
We are no longer talking about World of Warcraft.
Final Fantasy 14 is free to play up to level 70 now with 2 expansion packs, including the award-winning Heaven Sword and Stormblood. Later this summer, it's confirmed that we'll have Dawn Trail, an exciting conclusion to the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc. Was last expansion. This one is slated to be an exciting summertime adventure, like a summer vacation for our weary warrior of light. If you've ever thought about playing Final Fantasy 14, now is the perfect time to join. We're getting Hrothgar ladies, beautiful lion ladies, and of course our Yoshi P has talked about a graphics update. We're losing support for the PS3, but what that means is everyone is going to be so pretty. Anyway, I love Final Fantasy 14. I play a bunny boy named Athman Six Killer. Kelly plays a beautiful man named Gray Lockhart. What is it? Highlander named Gray Lockhart. It's the best. Thanks. Bye.
Have you checked your mail for this Phoenix check?
I should get paid.
That's spoken like a true spokesperson. I concur with everything that Rihanna just said. I don't hate World of Warcraft. It's great. It's not Final Fantasy. And I know it's subjective, it's particular. Hold on. I just want to say, growing, again, that's why I didn't say much during Pokemon either. It's like, I grew up with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is my jam. And, you could argue, it's not as good as an MMO as World. Whatever. Final Fantasy is my jam. I love, there's nothing better in this world for me than riding a chocobo and just, feeding them greens.
This is coming from a guy who is a clicker on WoW. He did not key a single key. He clicked all of his abilities.
Oh.
It's true.
So
I click.
So, wait,
you click?
Alright.
Are you shitting me? Okay, that's not how you play MMOs.
no,
Don't click.
well, so we convinced Glazer 14, and he did not like
So
it
bad.
because it
Oh,
was
that's good.
it was very
I
easy.
think- no,
and
but
it's
you-
like I get it because there's nothing that makes me more upset than when strangers yell at me for doing a bad job. And so like whenever I'm in like the
Oh,
early
right.
dungeons when they like
You suck! You
it's like little kids yell at me for being bad at like raids or whatever, and I'm just like, like screw you, I have a motorcycle.
Yeah, Brandon was always criticizing me for my WoW tactics, which I don't know if we can call tactics.
But okay, I understand why Glazer would not enjoy Final Fantasy XIV because yes, the dungeons are very just like walk forward in a straight line and
Yeah.
everything comes up. But I think that if we got you into the late game stuff where it's like, so the most recent set of
That's what-
no,
So everybody kept telling me.
no, the most recent set of alliance raids, like. There was one time I was at the beach and I was in like 2 feet of water and I got stuck in an undertow and I just got like spin cycled in 2 feet of water and I was like, I'm going to die, I can't stand up. And that's what I feel like playing the most recent alliance raids. like I feel like
Super fun.
I'm just spin cycled to
Just
death
like being
in
Riptide.
2 feet of water. But I feel like that's an experience that you would enjoy.
I mean, I tried it. I kept leveling, and everybody kept being like, "You just gotta get to like level 20, and it'll be way more fun." I got to
I do think a big
level
part of it.
45, and I'm like, "Okay, here we go."
I
don't know where this is. Ashley, okay, if you just get to 55, I swear it's gonna be the best. I got 55. No.
It's different. I think that for you, and you're right. I think you hit the nail on the coffin for me. I think I'm not really that much of a MMO player. I like Final Fantasy Online because it's Final Fantasy, And yes, you're right. I did click when I should have not. I don't even know. I don't remember. Maybe I'm old. I come from a background of point-and-click adventures. I don't know.
This
But
is not a point click.
I was gonna say, but it's okay. I was like, I didn't mind whenever you were like, "What are you doing?" I know that it came from a place of love.
Yeah, no, we were trying to raid. That's where it came from. We were trying to raid Rich, and he's over here. We're like, we need you to cast the D curse, and he's like, okay, which one of these buttons? It's somewhere. Oh, it's right there. Click.
Yeah, we're all dead.
Everybody's cursed, and you need D curse.
Well, that's the Final Fantasies that they're like, oh, everybody right now, picking prime numbers. I'm like,
For the rest of my keyboard aren't working.
I think one of the things with MMOs though, sorry, I live here now. I think one of the things with MMOs is you have to find your own fun. It's not going to happen immediately because no MMO is perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. One of the best things about Final Fantasy XIV is that I have a beautiful boy I get to look at.
yeah,
Like, if you don't like,
it's my favorite dress-up doll game.
Promoting Final Fantasy over here on my right.
if you
Have
don't
never
like
played
looking
WoW.
at beautiful, things, you're like, wow, that's how I feel.
What?
I've seen Jordan. If you don't like looking at beautiful things, you're like, wow.
Okay. Yeah. I like the aesthetic of Final Fantasy 14.
So I got a way to tie the two topics together. Here's what I think that was special about Pokemon Go and also about Season of Discovery. It was taking a game from either our childhood or our adolescence that we all have a lot of nostalgia for and putting like a new spin on it. So what made Pokemon Snap really fun is it was like, hey, remember when you were a kid and you played Pokemon on a Game Boy?
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go. I'm mixing up my games.
Pokemon Snap is great.
Almost as good as an NFL.
What if House of the Dead was Pokemon? That's what Pokemon Snap
You
is.
have to go to the Fire and Ice Town.
Really?
It's unbelievable. We got a new gaming, like a hobby store, like down the road called Fire and Ice, and it is ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, they bred you for filth.
Yeah, no, I walked in and this dude took one look at me. He's like, "Can I show you something?"
He's like, you look like a nerd. Would you like some Lord of the Rings magic?
So I walked in with my Lord of the Rings sweater on, and he was like, "Do you play Magic?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Can I show you something?" I bought a Lord of the Rings Magic deck.
That's awesome.
He showed me.
Man, that's great. I think we were talking about NFL Blitz like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's best football game ever.
Yeah, well, they're also selling like old games. Like they had shit, you Contra, right?
Yeah.
Was that, right?
Contra's the old
That's
arcade.
the up, down, down, left, right, AB.
Not Contra. What's the really popular RPG that's not Final Fantasy? That was like
The Bouncer?
Super Nintendo.
Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger. They have a sealed Chrono Trigger.
That's crazy.
It was only like $300.
Only $300.
I mean, that's the
I
price.
mean,
That is actually cheap for.
Yeah, yeah.
Unopened?
It's a relic.
Ever?
I'm pretty sure it's unopened.
You open it, it just turns to dust.
Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, so to try and make my point again, which I thought was the magic of Pokemon Go and WoW Season of Discovery,
Right.
is it's taking a old game and then putting a modern spin on it.
Yeah.
But in a good way, because sometimes when they try to do these like game updates, they like crash and burn. But Season of Discovery is really fun because it's classic WoW with like new runes and
Well, to that point, it's not just that it would be good for those who have that nostalgia and want more of it, because I didn't play vanilla WoW. The first time I played WoW was like 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I avoided WoW like the plague because I knew it was going to steal my life when I was a kid.
Sure did.
Yeah, that's right.
And does.
And now it's stealing it.
See, that's the the MMO experience is like sometimes I'll just sit there with a podcast on and I'm like mining rocks and I'm just like walking in a circle of like 6 rock nodes and like ting, ting, ting for like 4 and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, this sure is a time wasting simulator. It's like I'm wasting my time.
It's so fun somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm like,
Congratulations.
there are so many more enriching activities I could be doing with this time, but I am mining rocks.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just need to do something really monotonous with some sort of informational thing on the background, and that's how we, survive. It's a fun.
And for more highlighting those,
I was going to say, Scary Mouse Tomboy said before, there's a couple great questions up there, but they were asking what our favorite game of all time was, which that's a big question.
Richie
We've done this
Chris
before.
answer this question every week.
But for those,
everybody always
I was
asks.
going to say for those that haven't done it yet, go for it.
They have their answers.
Final Fantasy 14.
Well, our favorite
Wait,
game
I
is...
think, I gotta see, where's that bag of stuff that I'm gonna...
Okay, we'll give it 1 second. Someone else.
Here, I was gonna say everybody knows that I've said Chrono Trigger many times, but I've come as I'm at home between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. playing Skyrim for the billionth time. Really, I am. I've decided that I should probably start putting Skyrim up there in my top games of all time, or at least tied with #1 at Chrono Trigger, because honestly, I haven't replayed Chrono Trigger in its entirety in like at least 5 years. I replay Skyrim every year. I know, but Skyrim is so good. Skyrim! Yeah, every time I mention Skyrim, I'm like, I'm playing Skyrim. Skyrim! Oh, Talos!
Where's Talos?
When the Empire was taken by the Osmanians.
Oh, Jordan Bateman says Shadow of the Colossus, dude. Yes.
That's a great
That game
game.
is fantastic.
Thank you for your super chat, Brett. Brett says you got any coping mechanisms on your phone? Several. Anyway.
So, we got an answer to this question now.
One second. Okay, 1 second. I just want to say Skyrim.
Copy?
I think I'm officially going to say
So-
today, Skyrim is tied with my favorite game of all time with Chrono Trigger. It has to be, because I don't go to anything more than Skyrim, except for maybe Minecraft. But I'm hesitant to say that's my favorite game.
Yeah,
It's not
hours played.
a lot of hours played, but
But
it's
like if you rate it by hours played.
hours
It's
played, maybe
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Yeah, it's
It's not kind of. It's not a question. I've seen what you've done.
So,
Did you rebuild New York City?
on the subject of Final Fantasy 14, I love that my PlayStation shows me like the number of hours played and the percentage that I've beaten the game. So it shows me that I played 998 hours of Final Fantasy 14 and I finished 8% of the game.
Yeah.
Only 900 hours?
It's it's about 990 hours of breaking rocks. But so
Miles better.
So we went to what was it? Fire and Ice? Was that the name of the
Fire
show?
and Ice.
Fire and Ice. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's the game. Here, I'll let you hold this.
Oh my
Hold on.
god, did you
So
play the code?
okay, so there's the game that whenever I'm at a place that has used games, I'm like, well maybe they have it, and I look, just for the sake of it, and let me tell you, the soft gasp that we all released when we found out that they had.
Did you find
Square Enix.
Wait.
You have to understand.
I don't know how to. Well,
You have to understand
what that is?
This game is.
Oh, there you go.
This game is a game.
Okay.
It is a game that you play.
yeah.
I friends over.
Yeah, we made friends through their muscles.
Yeah, we made friends with their muscles because no one else likes this game. And you can say like you've angered the bouncer fandom all 60 years. But how would you explain the bouncer?
So it was a launch title for the PlayStation 2 that I think they shot it in the foot by hyping it up so much when it was in development, because I remember like 3 years of EGM magazine just talking about how hyped this game was going to be, and it was like on the tails of like, I think it came after like Final Fantasy VII was the one they kept talking about, because it was Nomura's like next kind of big game that he was at the helm of, and they're like, Final Fantasy VII guy, it's going to be this like cyberpunk world, it's going to be like, you know, an RPG, but it's like, you know, live real-time combat, and they were promising all these things like 3D stages that you were going to be able to like interact with everything, and like, you know, like you pick up a chair and you smash a guy with a chair, and like these are things that like are very normal now, but like nobody had really done that before, and so everyone, you know, it's like we didn't even have like Soul Calibur, like, you know, at least when Soul Calibur became yet. And so everyone was expecting this to be, you know, this like crazy cyberpunk RPG that was gonna last like 100 hours of running around this crazy Blade Runner city, and it turned out to basically be Final Fight like in 3D. It was totally just a vehicle to show off the graphic capabilities from PS2, because it's got amazing cutscenes that still look great, but it's like, you know, 300 ninjas come out and you fight them, and then you watch like 20 minutes of cutscenes, and then another 300 ninjas come out and you fight them, and that's the whole game. It's just fight ninjas, watch movies, and the whole thing's done in 2 hours.
It's got some of the most memorable dialogue from that era. I think, unless I'm very much mistaken, it was the first Square title with dialogue, because everything else on the PS1 had been non-dialogue. And then
Useless puppet!
yeah, exactly. That was the craziest thing. Like, I'm coming for you, Dominique.
The crazy thing, like, a lot of the voice actors in that game are like known people. Like, it has amazing vocal talent. Like, and they're all using not their real names, because it's like not a union job, so it's like they're fake. Like, so it's Steve Bloom was Co, and you know, like Spice Spiegel, and it's so. I think Michael Gregory is his name, was Volt. He's like the hostage negotiator in RoboCop.
Right.
They also did like a bunch of anime voice acting. Echidna was the woman who voiced, I think, the Major in like Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah. No, but I just love dialogue. It's good to see you again. Volt, I thought I finished him off.
Yeah.
It's got all those. It's like the script almost writes itself.
Yeah.
It's just so typical.
So I've spent most of my career in, you know, media spheres trying to get somebody to let me remake the bouncer. Like I was like someone let me make the Castlevania treatment on the bouncer. No one's let me do that. So now, you know, pipe version. So basically, I kept pitching, you know, like I was doing like Penguin Random House when they got their Square Enix deal. I was like, can we make the bouncer the comic? When, you know, like I used to work with Man of Action when I was on Ben 10. I was like, you guys did that, the Quiet Man game. Can we make the bouncer? And like just anyone who had like into the door, I was like, we're gonna make the bouncer. We're gonna make it good. And it never worked out. And so eventually Sunshine, which makes not safe for work comics. It's a subscription paywall, you know, spicy comic site. And they were like, if you take what you want to do with the bouncer and make it not the bouncer and add sex scenes to it, we'll pay you to make it. And I was like, sure, let's do that. So there's like 2 chapters up there, it's very slow to make. And then after I did the Pokemon comic earlier this year in black and white, and I just like cranked it up so fast, I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna make black and white comics. So like, now I'm making a safe for work. Now it's like, I added the sex scenes in, and now I'm taking the sex scenes back out. And,
now you gotta take them out.
Yeah, so now it's that's from where I'll figure out some way to make it free forever, and now it's on like Patreon. If you give me anything, you can read it.
It'll be free on the internet with no IP whatsoever.
Serial numbers filed off.
Yeah, oh no, it's absolutely not Bouncer anymore. But,
well, that's too bad. I wish that they, you know, I know that that game wasn't extremely popular after its launch, but I would have loved to have seen a Bouncer too. It's just, I don't know, I probably love Tetsuya more and more than most people. More belts, more zippers.
It's really interesting because people have brought up Kingdom Hearts in the chat.
Right.
It's very much like Sion, which may or may not have been Sean translated to Sion. Anyway, he's very much a proto Sora. And
Right.
it's so funny to see like Nomura refine his characters. One of my fondest memories of a convention is we were at Dragon Con and just walking around the Marriott, I looked over and I was like, is that a Sion Barzad? And we like ran over to them and it was a Sion and a Dominique. And I was like, oh my god, I love your Bouncer cosplay. And I swear to god, this man looked like he was about to cry and he was like, you played the Bouncer.
I think that we should have a drinking contest where every time the word Sion is followed by the word Dominique, we should take a shot.
Sion Dominique!
Yeah.
Oh.
The
That's what
Bouncer.
we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Totally. I mean,
You don't remember much about
Bouncer-
it.
No. What year was it?
2000.
2000.
Who's your favorite character in the Bouncers?
The big one.
Bolt! He's the best one! Bolt is a load-bearing pillar of my personality.
He's got the spikes. You know?
But yeah, this poor like Sion
You've seen my jacket.
cosplayer. This poor Sion cosplayer was like, everyone thinks
Yeah.
I'm Sora. When are we not talking about the Bouncer?
Yeah, I know. I think he is. It definitely, he's got the same bright jacket that Sora would have later, except he's a lot taller than Sora. But
Yeah.
no, but I love that. I'm glad. I can't believe I had no idea we'd be talking about the Bouncer today. But
Hello? If I'm in the room, yeah, we're
it's
here.
the
We're
game
talking
that
about
I
the
bought
Bouncer.
waiting for MCS2.
Did it come with your PlayStation?
No, I have the oldest PlayStation known
I
to
think it might have come
mankind.
with it.
That's the only way. That's the only way to get people
That one has
Please
no
don't
dumbass. It's free. Did you?
No, I mean it's great. It was fun for the time. I'm sure if you put it, well, I don't know. I probably still enjoy it, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of again, just very typical dialogue and just fun stuff. We should go through it sometime. Anyways,
Next topic. I think you want to talk about Godzilla. Has anybody seen the new Godzilla film? What is it, Rich?
Godzilla minus
Oh,
one.
have you seen it, Brandon?
I've never seen a single Godzilla film.
Okay, dude. All right, I think you should watch this movie. And Rich is going to tell you why.
So Godzilla minus one, it's not part of like the legendary. It's not like Godzilla versus Kong. It's Godzilla minus one is a Japanese film. It's the first Japanese Godzilla movie since Shin Godzilla. Yeah, it's good. Set in 2016, and that's great. I love that they're bringing back Japanese Godzilla because there was a time after Godzilla King of Monsters, Godzilla vs Kong. I thought maybe Toho would really slow down in favor of the American movies, but no, they brought it back full force. Godzilla minus one is probably the best Godzilla movie ever made. It is sad, dramatic, emotional. Possibly nominated for Academy Awards this year. No, I'm serious. It's on the short list. The Academy Awards short list. It's an amazing film. And it's not just a great Godzilla film. It's probably my favorite film of the year of last year, and just an incredible and they made it for less than $15 million. It is now the highest grossing
Steel.
It is well, I mean most movies today cost $100 million, but it is now the highest grossing Japanese film in America.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's doing really well. Do you have something to say?
Yes. I sure do. Even if you haven't seen any of the Godzilla movies at all previously, you can watch this one and be totally caught up, and it's great. It really humanizes the human aspect, the people of it, and it's just a really good story all around. It's fantastic, really well made, and yeah, go see it.
I got a good pitch for Brandon. It's the Batman Begins.
It's an origin story.
Because it's an origin story. But here's the reason that it's so special. So, it's about Godzilla, but what's more important is it's about some of the people that their lives get affected. I'll tell you the beginning of the movie because it's kind of heavy. Rich, are you cool if I explain the intro to the film?
I mean, if that's you don't like spoilers.
Oh, do you want me to not even mention how it starts? Do you want to go into
It's incredible. You
totally?
should just watch it. It's
It's
incredible.
amazing.
Tell you what, I won't spoil anything. I'll say this.
Okay.
The character arc of the humans in the movie is whoa.
Yeah.
It's so good. I went in with no expectations. I saw it with Rich and Sam. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't even watch a trailer, so I won't even say what it's about. But the journey you go on with these
Just so
characters.
you know, it's about Godzilla.
Yeah. It's in Japanese, and there's English subtitles, so you feel like you're watching a live action anime. You're whoa.
Japanese film.
But the arc of the character is so good. Dude, by the end of it, you're gonna tear up a little bit. It hits you it hits you in the same way that the most intense moments in an anime hit you. You know how there's some anime that like you get like really deeply invested, and then you like your eyes start like tearing up because they just like they know how to like really like hit you like right in the feels. You gotta see it. You're gonna love it. It's Batman Begins for Godzilla, but the story's great.
I'll check it out.
Best film of 2020.
Brett wants to say something.
Brett's in the chat!
Wait.
Brett, you gotta lean over.
Come, yeah, you gotta come in like.
Here, you take.
You're stealing
I was
my
gonna say-
pose. You dare approach me?
The Viking is entered.
I thought the film did an excellent job going into the socio-political turmoil that the Japanese people had to have during World War II that Western audiences aren't familiar with. So, you know, yeah, they had to use Godzilla as a way to sort of bring that to Western audiences. I think it was great. Yeah, we can have that conversation now.
I'm glad that I was able to bring up a topic that you felt comfortable coming in.
Yeah, I
Very well said.
do want to make a mention of Godzilla. It is always important to understand that the Japanese Godzilla experience is so different than the American Godzilla experience, and I think that does stem from how Western audiences view nuclear powers and superpowers and everything versus how a lot of the rest of the world understands nuclear power. We can see superheroes, your Spider-Mans, your, mutant powers stemming from toxic waste and other things because we see this as a breakthrough in science. But Godzilla is the best example of a breakdown in nuclear powers, this huge tragedy that occurred for the Japanese people, and also the Bikini Islands and everything, creating a monster. And it's very, very tragic. And Godzilla as a vehicle for the tragedy that nuclear powers create cannot be understated. As a side note, because we're not getting into spoilers for the new film, but I can tell you Shin Godzilla is such a wonderful and terrible representation of the inactivity of the Japanese government when it came to the Fukushima nuclear disaster. 100% if you watch Shin Godzilla, understanding that this is a critique of the Japanese government failing to respond to the nuclear disaster of Fukushima, the film just is, in my opinion, just that much higher. I have a lot of Japanese friends who have talked about just the route that Godzilla has taken in the Japanese film sphere, and I am so happy that it's finally getting the recognition that it deserves.
That was really,
Thank you so
really
much.
well said.
No, I love it. I love all Godzilla, and you watch Japanese Godzilla, it's like, oh my god, this is horrible, and everybody, it's really good and dramatic. And then American Godzilla, it's like, big lizard fights big monkey.
Fucking 2000 Godzilla, 2000 Godzilla. Let's Jack Black into this.
What Leanna was saying, it is interesting to look at the different attitudes between the different cultures about nuclear power and what it's capable of, because I feel in general Americans seem to have a much more kind of not in my backyard attitude about it. It's America has not really embraced nuclear energy as a power source in the same way that Japan has. So it's there's definitely more of an attitude of that we understand the danger of it, and also we try to harness it sort of in that way. And it's in America it's more of just kind of a dangerous, scary fantasy thing that other people have to deal with.
A lot of it also may have to do with just the American attitude towards film, especially right now, and just waiting on our big, nasty blockbusters. And,
A few blackbusters out there.
That was definitely a big black bluster.
Yeah.
Wow. And Japan, they want to keep it more grounded, and that's great. Anyways, what were you saying, Chris?
Oh, I was gonna say, typically on the RichAlvarez channel, we obviously try to stay away from political stuff or things that are too serious. So I'll be kind of skirting the line on this, but like you said, when I was in college, I took some classes. It was a class series called Technocultural Studies. I didn't really watch the Godzilla movies when I was younger, but the gist of it is, and you said it really well, Godzilla is the way that, I understand it as an American, Japan culturally processes the trauma of the atomic bombs in World War II. That's what the metaphor is. So obviously it's heavy stuff. The reason that G-1 is really, really interesting is, Brett was saying, there is kind of a critique of the Japanese government and how they handle things in World War II, but what's more important is, like I was saying in my thing, it's about how individuals deal with pain, with trauma, with loss, with how you fit in and like be like a good citizen, but also make sure that you don't compromise your own morals, how you deal with shame, how you deal with like moving on to the future. Like it's like really, really heavy. Like it's an intense film, but by the time you're done, I would say the main thing I would take away from it all is you're filled with a sense of hope. Like a sense that the future is worth living for, that there's still like something that's worth achieving, and like the future is there for those that show up for it. So obviously it's some like pretty heavy themes, but it's definitely worth watching. And like when I came away from it, I was like you like just sit there like tearing up once the credits roll, and you're just like really like whoa. Like as an American, it's like you just get a glimpse of a totally different culture and how they process pain and how they process like redemption. It's like it's really heavy, but I was blown away.
And yeah, and even though that film was amazing, I'm still excited for Big Lizard Fights Big Monkey 2 coming out in 3 months.
I felt like you might want to add on to that.
I mean, I think you summed it up really well, to be honest. We're both on the same page, and I know you said you don't want to make it too political, so I won't go super into it. But yeah, I think one thing I will touch on is it is so important to explore different cultures, and not just in a sense of like, you know, I am watching an anime, but like finding movies and finding things that challenge your worldview, or just like broaden them in general. Like a great, you know, thing is like I think everyone should watch like different horror movies of different cultures, because your idea of what's scary is going to be different, or like just different romance things, just like watching.
My bad.
Just watching anything that is different than what you were used to is already going to challenge you, but like trying to view it and understand it from the side of like why it is being made. Like I'm not the biggest fan of K-pop, but I have consumed it and understand it, and I have a lot of friends who watch it, and I think it's important that you just know how it's made and why and everything, and I think it gives you a nice insight into other people. So just watch things with an open mind.
You know, my English teacher used to always say that the history of a story is almost more entertaining than the story itself, which I concur with a lot of things. Not everything. Some, you know, it's like the history of Tolkien is awesome, but you know, they made that show about young Tolkien and everything too. It's not better than Lord of the Rings. I mean, you know, an amazing guy, but he's not, you know, the stories that he told. But you know, sometimes like the history of how Beowulf came to be, like some of that stuff is like fascinating. Anyways, with that said, I think that it's 6 o'clock, and that we're just about out of time. Does anybody want to give any farewells?
Oh, I mean, it was a delight to be here and just
Thank
talk
you.
to the same way as like all you guys, like the same way things you were talking about, but now with the camera on us.
Yeah.
You know, everyone got to see my bad fluffy hair.
Yeah, look up my best friend Kelly Turnbull. So you can find Kelly Turnbull on Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram.
I forgot about Stu.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure hanging out with amazing people, amazing friends, and all the wonderful people in the chat, especially Brett, the true hero of the chat today.
To Brett, the true hero of the
Thanks,
chat!
Brett. Thanks, Brett.
Money bags.
Yeah. So the dude with the hair that was on the table.
The dude with the
The
hair.
dude with the hair. That's Brett Charles. He super chatted several times, even though he's literally right here in the room.
You can't talk about them, they're encrypted.
Contents of
It's
all our
amazing.
phones now.
Anyways, Brandon, do you want to give a little farewell?
Bye.
All right,
Thank you.
a little farewell. Chris?
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, Graham.
On the last. Yeah, hold your breath.
I think you should buy stocks in Furret. Furret, also known as Otachi in Japanese, that is the best Pokemon. I think you should understand why it's the best normal type Pokemon.
Yeah,
It's very
get
cute.
those stocks up.
If you watch the newest Netflix stop animation show, Pokemon Resort, Pokemon Concierge, I'm sorry. Furret is featured in it heavily. Please watch it and support Furret. Thank you.
So I didn't know you were about to talk.
No, it's all good. This was a really fun podcast. I've really been enjoying these like group hangout / nerd out about whatever random stuff that we're into. So I think along with this, it's a brand new year. The thing that makes like good memories is being around good friends. So what I would say to all of you is make sure you make time for your friends this year, because those are the memories that you're going to look back on next year when you're 25. So thanks again, everybody.
All right.
Oh yeah, thank you.
With that said,
Happy birthday, Troy!
thank you. You've been a terrific audience. Love you, audience. Love you, fans.
What is the audience?
What audience? You guys are awesome, and it's always a pleasure to have you guys in our lives. But what's even better is actually hanging out with my friends with no pressure. So, with that said,
You're just like, you don't have to go home. You can't keep watching this stream.
so with that said, I'm gonna just hang out with my friends without my YouTube audience. And
Could you play us off with a please subscribe voice while I end the stream?
Please subscribe.
hey,
It's pretty easy. Just like tuning in whenever we're live because it's always free.
that's about it.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a great 2024.